So welcome back to the cabin once again. I thought we would do something a little different today. I thought we would try to shoot a YouTube video with nothing but natural lighting. This place is incredibly hard to light for filming. Now, I don't really need a lot of light, and I think that if I think about our ancestors, this is more than enough to do what they would need to do. You know, if they were reading or had a task to do, they could do it with just a couple candles. But for you to enjoy this, I really need to produce enough light that you can see what's going on. So I thought what we would do is a little bit of a Q&A. Some people have been asking some questions, and good questions that need to be answered. So I want to answer a couple of those questions, but I thought we would do it tonight with natural lighting. It's really nasty out there. It's not quite completely dark. I mean, the whole ground is snow covered, so on an average day, this would have been dark. But because of the snow cover, there's still a little bit of light out there, but very little. So anyway, let's get this place lit up, and then we'll continue to talk some more. I'm going to start with the fireplace because it's the one that'll produce the most light. What are you seeing, girl? While that's getting going, let me get some lamps burning in the corners to light up the room, and then we'll light up the other side with the angle lamps and go from there. Get the angle lamps lit. Of all the lamps that I have, these angle lamps produce the most light. Other than one Aladdin, I do have an Aladdin that produces a crap load of light. But I don't know, I just don't see that one as fair to use tonight, so I'm not using it. Leave that one pulled down a little bit. Okay. Hey, now how nice is that? It just feels so warm and cozy sitting here. This is way more than enough light. I could absolutely function on this side of the cabin really well. Pretty much in every corner. Everything is lit up just great. Now, let's turn you around and get a look at the other side. The other side's still pretty dark, but I do have a lot of angle lamps on that side that we can light up, and we're going to do that right now so we can get that side lit up, and then we're going to go back to having our little chit-chat. I don't know why, but these two put off way more light. These two put off way more light than any of the other angle lamps that I got. Okay. One. There you go. There's those two. Now, the big one. All right, this one actually pulls down. Okay. There's the angle, the three-sided chandelier. Okay, and one of the questions that somebody had asked me is how much oil does it take to fill up the lanterns? Too much. And again, this is why I think that our ancestors, the pioneers of this country, used the fireplace more for light. Even though oil was much cheaper back then, it was, in some cases, it was a byproduct. It was just sort of, what I've heard is it was a byproduct and it was just sort of sold for pennies. They didn't normally have pennies. I mean, you still had to purchase it, where the fireplace could produce, that fireplace produces as much light as all of these lanterns put together. And it does it at zero cost if I go to the woods and gather up some sticks. So no matter what the cost of the fuel might have been back then, it was still cheaper to burn the fireplace than it was to burn oil lamps. And the fact that they didn't have to buy the oil lamps. Now, these angle lamps are really probably even a little bit too classy for this cabin, but I really liked them, so I bought them. Anyway, let's get back around and let's talk a little bit about some of the other questions that people have asked. First off, I want to thank everyone who tunes in to watch my program, you know, once a week, once every 2 weeks, once a month. Sometimes it's a month or two before I get a chance to make a video. But I want to thank you for tuning in and watching the show. I guess what I didn't think about when I started doing this is how many memories that it would bring up for you guys, the viewer. Memories of your childhood, memories hunting with a grandfather, or memories the way grandma used to do it, or I just never thought about that. I was trying to just live my life. I didn't start this as a YouTube channel. I started this as my journey in life. My journey after my divorce. I was stuck in a rut, so this was my journey to try to figure out who I was going to be for my future. To try to look at everything in life as a positive thing and take all negative things and push them aside. Try to live for today, but looking for tomorrow. Like I just didn't want to get stuck in a place. I've seen it so many times where people just get stuck and they just can't figure out how to move on. I just didn't want that to happen to me. So that's what happened with this cabin. This cabin was a way of rebuilding my life and just learning how to live again. So anyway, to all of you, I say thank you. And if you don't mind, in the comments, will you please comment where you're from? City, state, country. I love hearing when my viewers are coming from a far off place in another part of the world. It warms my heart to think that there are people tuning in to my little program right here in Lisbon, Ohio, but they're in some other part of the world. So if you don't mind, comment below where you live, whether it's a city or a state or like I say, even another country. I love the fact that this program is getting out to people around the world. And I do my best to read all comments. There are times when it blows up really fast and it's really hard for me to get to. And the ones I can't see very well are the ones that are when people comment on other people's comments, replies, sometimes I can't find them. I get a notification that they're there, but then I can't figure out where it went, what video it's on, anything. I'm just not that savvy with all that stuff. So sometimes I do get lost. But a couple questions, not really questions, statements that I've got over the last couple weeks that, you know, I sort of scratch my head about, and I thought we would address a couple of them. The first one of the things on my video where I talked about like how much it cost me to build this, I really don't have a lot of money, and a lot of people said the only thing he didn't mention was his time, and you have to put a price on your time, and I'm here to tell you, stop it. Stop putting a dollar figure on every bit of your time. Yes, we all need money to survive. We all need to put in so many hours of work for money so that we could then trade that money for the things that we need. I made it clear I have electric here, so I need money every month, pay my electric bill, and I need money to buy groceries if I'm not fully growing them all on my own. That number for me is very low. I'd like to say that time is your most valuable asset. Spend it wisely. But that's not a dollar figure. That is, time is precious. Each day we're given so much time. There is no price that you can put on what building this home did for me. Not the other way around, what I did for the home. There is no dollar figure that you could put on it. If I wouldn't have built this cabin in the fashion I did, figuring out who I was as a person, pushing myself to my limit, and then beyond, if I wouldn't have done that, I would have spent way more money than it cost to build a house on therapy and probably got nowhere. This was my therapist. So you can't put a dollar figure on that. And I know that some of you get it, you understand, it's why you want to do it. Dragging yourself away from the world and buying a piece of land somewhere and building a log cabin and living in that log cabin, I'm finding out very quickly, is the dream of so many people. You can't put a dollar figure on that. You can't put a price tag on fulfilling your dream. You just can't. You couldn't. I've had people telling me, like, around the world, would you come build me what you have? Would you come build that for me? And the answer is no. There is no amount of money that you could give me to do this for you. And the reason is, my heart was in this, and I needed to do this. Plus, if I go build yours for you, then I have to leave Johnny Appleseed, I have to leave my mom, I have to leave my daughter, who all need me here. So there is no amount of money, and trust me, some people have offered me some pretty good money to build them a fireplace like this, to build them a cabin just like this. This is people's dream, but the right way to get it is just to do it yourself. Figure it out. And I know a lot of people said that they don't have the skills. This is my first log cabin, so if I can do it, you can do it. I promise you. Well, I'm not going to go there because I don't know you. I'm pretty much a redneck and been doing everything myself my entire life. So anyway, for my last one, did you use any insulation? Is the cabin insulated? Okay, first off, logs, for the most part, are a better insulator than your modern insulation. Other than the fact that you're not wrapping it with plastic and putting vinyl siding over the outside of it, the logs for a log cabin, these logs stay pretty warm. They're not very cold. The roof is the part that people are a little confused about. They see that roof and they see those open joists and it looks like it has no insulation. That was by design. When people built cabins in the day that this cabin was originally built, there was no such thing as insulation. Nobody insulated anything. But this is my home. I live here every day. I go to sleep here. I now sleep full-time in the loft. I gave my daughter my master bedroom to make a library, so now she has her bedroom, and she has the master bedroom that has a fireplace in it, and that's her library. But anyway, what I did with the roof and both ends of the house is that above the roof that you can see from the inside, there's another roof built over top of it. On each one of those rafters, I stood up a 2x6, and then I insulated in between each one of them. So there is insulation, and then an airspace, and then the metal roof. The same with the ends of the house. I built what you can see from the inside, I built from the inside, and then I went on the outside and I built a complete another wall on the outside that looks kind of like this one. It's got barn siding on it, so that people from the outside don't know it by looking in, and people from the inside don't know it by looking out. It is meant to look like it's uninsulated, but it is insulated. Now, let me put a couple more logs on back there to get that lit up a little bit better. And again, that's what these little pieces work so nice. Those little pieces work so nice because they build so much flame so quick. Okay, that was the roof. Now, the one thing that I get, and I've told people, these things don't produce a lot of heat because of the vacuum, because it draws the air out of the house. One of the biggest comments that I get on there, it wouldn't do that if you would add outside air to the fireplace. Yes, it would. The amount of air that thing requires, a 4-inch pipe running in there is not going to do anything. And it requires air moving from the house into the fireplace to keep the smoke in there. Without having that airflow into the fireplace, the smoke would just roll right into the house. So you have to have air going in from the front. Would an outside air kit help? A little bit, but more on our modern homes today. That's when they started using outside air, is when they started wrapping houses in plastic and sealing up everything so tight that no air can come from the outside in. Trust me, air can get in this place. This is what I say. If you want a really airtight home, build a modern home. Build a modern home, wrap it in all the plastic you want to wrap it in. But if you want to live the log cabin lifestyle, understand that sometimes when the wind blows, you're going to feel it inside your house. With wood heat, and most people, and I've even seen it on my comments, that most people that have wood burners sometimes have their front doors wide open. That's how much heat we have. So a little bit of air being lost from a home is actually healthy for you. Because right now, with that fireplace drawing, and even the potbelly does it to a degree, it's sucking the air out of my house and replacing it with new air. The air outside right now is so crisp and clean. It is snowing really hard. Lavender and I was outside playing earlier. That air is so clean out there right now that you could just walk out and take a deep breath and it just feels so good. You get that in here too, because at times, especially now with this thing burning, you can just feel that cool air coming into the house and it feels awesome. So if you want to live in a modern home, live in a modern home. We don't care. But that's not what this is about. So I think that's enough about that. Okay. Thanks for coming along. We're going to wrap it up for today. I will catch you guys very soon. Take care. God bless.